What if airsoft guns were limited to semi-automatic only, and only light machine guns could have fully automatic capabilities? Well, today we'll be discussing the pros and cons of a system like this. By the way, my name is Lane, and welcome to the BB Warrior, where we help you have a better time, both on and off the airsofting field. And today we're going to be discussing the pros and cons of a system like this. So first, why don't we set down some ground rules for the system? First off, let's define a light machine gun. We're going to define a light machine gun as any gun in the real world that was designed for fully automatic belt-fed capabilities. So your M249, your M240, your PKP, PKM, guns like that are specifically designed around continuous fully automatic fire. No AKs or M4s with box or drum mags, specifically guns that were originally designed for this purpose. So this does exclude guns like the M27 IAR or even like the RPK. We're talking specifically about belt-fed guns here. And why don't we talk about some of the advantages of having a system like this first. And this is going to be applied for general gameplay, so this isn't for Milsim games, because games like Milsim West and American Milsim already have this sort of rule in place. So some of the pros about this, I believe, is this going to help reduce overshooting, I believe. Because a lot of people bring standard rifles, M4s, M16s, AKs, so I feel like if not everyone has the ability to go fully automatic, I feel like that is going to reduce overshooting to an extent. The other reason I think that this could be a positive change is that it rewards people for bringing light machine guns to the airsoft field, and it could promote better teamwork. Right now, there is no purpose to bring a light machine gun to a field that allows any gun to go full auto. Besides cool guy factor, why would you bring something that is heavier, clunkier, harder to maneuver, if a Mark 18 can shoot just as well as you can and put down as much BBs as you can? So I feel like by having rifles put down as semi-automatic, that's going to give the people who do take the time to carry the extra weight and get in position and use the gun the way that it should be, I feel like it's going to reward those players that bring it out and deal with the extra weight and extra things like that. That could be a really advantageous system to make light machine guns more prevalent in airsoft. I think that it's also going to work for more teamwork, because if you need to put down suppressing fire, a light machine gun will be able to do the job of 3 riflemen easily. If the light machine gun is the only gun that can put down full auto, I think that that's just going to help out significantly and make there be more teamwork in airsoft. I also think it's going to add a bit more realism to it, because the job of the light machine gun is to put down suppressive fire. That's their main objective, and that's something that could really work to bring more realism to airsoft. Now I know that not all fields are going for realism, that's why you have things like Speedsoft, but I think that for general play it could be a useful thing. But there always are counter-arguments, which I like to bring up the opposite point of things, look at things from both angles. Why don't we look at some of the disadvantages of a system like this? I think the main one is that players aren't going to like it. We have been accustomed to being able to use both fire modes. That's why airsoft guns have semi and fully automatic on them. And I know I'm gonna admit I'm being a little bit biased in this discussion, because I typically only play on semi-automatic only. I like being precise with my shots, and I don't need to put down 20, 40 rounds downrange. I'd rather take my time and take a couple of shots, pew, 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 and make sure that I can watch every single BB rather than spraying down a cloud of them downrange. So I'm going to admit I'm a little bit biased in this discussion for semi-automatic only, but I understand that some people like using fully automatic when they play. And I think that's something that we need to address as a community, is overshooting, because that is a big issue. There are people who will dump 100 rounds downrange. There are people with DSG builds that can dump their entire mid-cap in a second or two. And I'm not saying that DSG builds are the problem. I think that the problem is just bad players. Everyone wants to have the best gear and the best kit, and there are always going to be people who abuse any system out there. So I feel like while we can't blame the system itself, because that's just ignorance instead of addressing the problem, we have to acknowledge that that does happen from time to time. And again, it's not all the players. There are people who use DSG builds very, very conservatively and don't just mag dump every single person they see. And there are people who also run HPA who don't crank their RPS to the highest that will allow them to go, and that their mid-caps will feed. But it is an issue from time to time with certain players. And that is something that I noticed in playing Winter Airsoft this weekend. I was able to play Winter Airsoft, and because more people are wearing more kit because they want to stay warm, you do have to put an extra few rounds into them because they might not feel it or something like that. I think that the other disadvantage about this is that, again, some people don't want realism in their airsoft. Speed softwares aren't there for a milsim. They are there for a fast-paced game, a competition, I guess you could say. Whereas milsim people, I would say, well, they're still there to have fun and win. At least for me, it's more of the experience of being there as well that adds on to it, like the scenario at hand. So I understand that there are people who don't want realism in their airsoft, and that's fine. Sometimes I just want to go play airsoft, go shoot at other people, and have fun with my friends. Not every game for me has to be about the scenario. So I completely understand why some people are like that, because I myself am partially like that. So I feel like there are some disadvantages to putting in a system like this. I feel like there are going to be a lot of people who are hesitant. There are going to be a lot of fields that their player base just don't agree, and that's something that's going to happen. There's things that we have to try as a community to try to make the game better for everyone. And some of them will work, and some of them obviously won't work. So I want to know your guys' opinion. Do you think that having semi-automatic lock for rifles would be good or bad for the community in the game types that we play? So for milsim and for more of your CQB speedsoft scenarios, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. I would love to hear your guys' input on the situation. That is going to do it for this topic though. If this was your first time here, I would love to have you subscribe for more content every Tuesday and Friday here on the channel. If you're looking for more content from us, make sure to check us out on our social media pages. Links will be, again, in the description below, where you can check out some of our content on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This has been the BB Warrior, and I will see you all next time.